Hi, in this video I'm going to talk about some common non-chain free radical reactions. The last two videos I did were on chain radical reactions and then on radical polymerization, which is a chain reaction as well. So these are going to be a few common ones that are non-chain free radical reactions. Now, number one is going to be photochemical reactions. Now, sometimes the initiation of a chain reaction can begin with light. But you can also have photochemical reactions that are not chain reactions. And I'm going to do a couple of examples here of some photochemical reactions that don't involve chain reactions with radicals. So in the first one, cyclohexanone can react with light, and when this happens, we have the pi bond split apart. This will give two radicals, one on the oxygen and then one tertiary radical down here. Sorry, I drew this arrow. I could draw this arrow a little bit better over here to indicate it's going to that position. So now we're going to have another intramolecular reaction here, where the electron from the oxygen moves to this bond, and then the sigma bond over here breaks in a homolytic cleavage. So used to drawing cyclo molecules, but we broke that bond. So now there's a double bond to the oxygen, still a radical there, and then now a radical here. The last step of this, I'm going to draw in the hydrogen here because we're going to have a hydrogen abstraction. Free radical here comes to that bond between the carbon and the hydrogen. And then the other electron from this bond will join with the radical to form a carbon-carbon double bond. So we'll be left with an aldehyde, and then that is now a carbon-carbon double bond. So that's the first photochemical reaction example. And this was an intramolecular reaction, right? Within one molecule, we had a number of free radical reactions. And notice this one's not a chain because we always have two radicals present, right? Part of the whole chain free radical reactions was that there was only one radical, so that's what made the chain reaction continue. Here there's two, so we can always end up at this termination phase at the end. Second one is going to be an intermolecular reaction. So we got two identical reactants here. Again, initiated by light because it's photochemical. So now we've got two radicals on this top reactant and then none on the bottom one. And obviously I'm drawing them oriented this way just to make the reaction easiest. They're obviously moving out very quickly in solution. So now I'm going to form a sigma bond here when this pi bond breaks, and then I'll have a new radical form. So now I formed a sigma bond, and then I have two radicals here. And these radicals will now come together to form a sigma bond. And that is my product. So those are two examples of photochemical reactions that are not chain. One intramolecular, another involving two reactants. The second type you'll see is a redox reaction with metals. There are a large number of metal reactions that involve free radicals. Like you could take semesters of courses on these. So I'm going to introduce them with some of the more common ones, and that's going to be lithium and sodium metals, because they each have one valence electron and are easily oxidized. So that makes it really easy to use lithium and sodium in redox reactions that involve radicals. So in the example below, I got bromobenzene. So I'll react this with lithium. Notice this is a little bit different. Typically, whenever we have radicals, there's two fishhook arrows that are drawn. But here I'm only drawing one. And what I'm forming, you might not have heard of before. So this is going to be, I'll put this in a different color to differentiate it from the reaction, a 3-electron 2-center bond. So now, in the next step, notice I'm drawing a full arrow here, not fishhook. So this is indicating the movement of 2 electrons. So I lose the bromine. So I've got a radical plus Br minus. So next step is I have another lithium here. I'm now going to form an anion. I'll draw it on this side. All right, so I've now formed an anion. And I can react this anion with whatever I'm trying to add into the benzene ring. Here, I just want to add a hydrogen. So I'll react it with water. Right, the lone pair can come attack the hydrogen, and I'll get the hydrogen added. So I have benzene now. So I've gone from bromobenzene to benzene. That's just one example of a redox reaction with a metal. Like I said, there's countless other ones, many of them very complicated. But this one introduces a metal that's commonly used with lithium, and then also a 3-electron 2-center bond, which is something you may not have seen before.